How to become the best version of yourself. Introduction. The quiet question we all carry. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a question that follows us quietly through life. It does not shout. It does not demand attention, but it waits. It waits in moments of silence, in long drives, in sleepless nights. Am I becoming the person I was meant to be? Open quote. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung, close quote. A few years ago, a journalist interviewed residents in a retirement home. One man, 90 years old, sat near the window every afternoon. When asked what he thought about most, he paused for a long time. Then he said quietly, "I think about the lives I didn't live. Not the money he didn't make, not the risks that failed, but the courage he never used." That silence said everything. And that is why this conversation matters, because regret is patient, but it is merciless. Chapter 1, Self-Awareness. Looking in the mirror without flinching. Becoming the best version of yourself begins with honesty. The kind of honesty that happens when no one is watching. Open quote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Carl Jung, close quote. There is an old story about a sculptor who was admired for creating statues that looked alive. When someone asked him how he made them so perfect, he smiled and said, "The statue is already inside the stone. I just remove what doesn't belong." Self-awareness works the same way. It is not about adding more to your life. It is about removing the habits that numb you, the fears you pretend are just being realistic, the comfort that quietly keeps you small. The hardest part is this: you cannot change what you refuse to name, but the moment you see yourself clearly, growth begins. Chapter 2, Responsibility. The day you take your life back. There comes a moment in every life when excuses stop working. Open quote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Viktor Frankl, close quote. Viktor Frankl lost his family, his freedom, and his identity in concentration camps. Every reason to give up was present. And yet he observed something powerful. Those who survived were often those who found meaning, even in suffering. Frankl realized that while everything can be taken from a person, one thing remains: the choice of how to respond. That choice is responsibility. Not blame, not guilt, but power. The moment you say, "This is my life, and I will shape what comes next," you step out of the shadows of the past and into authorship of your future. Chapter 3, Discipline. The invisible work. No one applauds motivation is loud, but short-lived. Discipline is quiet, but permanent. Open quote. "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle, close quote. There's a story of a young boxer who trained before sunrise every day. Rain, cold, exhaustion. It didn't matter. One morning, a reporter asked him why he trained so early. He replied, "Because my competition is sleeping. And while they dream of winning, I'm working for it." Discipline doesn't feel heroic in the moment. It feels lonely, repetitive, uncomfortable. But discipline compounds, and one day, the world calls it talent. Chapter 4, Letting Go. When growth demands goodbye. You cannot grow while holding on to everything. Open quote. Some people come into your life as blessings, others come as lessons. Mother Teresa, close quote. There is a simple truth in nature. Snakes must shed their skin to grow. If they don't, the skin becomes tight, painful, and eventually fatal. Humans are no different. Sometimes letting go means walking away from people who only recognize the old you. Sometimes it means releasing identities that once protected you, but now imprison you. Letting go hurts because it feels like loss, but staying the same costs more. Chapter 5, Failure, the place where strength is forged. Failure is not a sign to stop. It is a signal to learn. Open quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Thomas Edison, close quote. Before Edison succeeded, he was ridiculed. Investors walked away. Friends doubted him. Each failure was public and painful. But Edison didn't see failure as defeat. He saw it as data. Failure strips you of arrogance. It builds humility. It prepares you for responsibility. If you failed, it means you dared to try, and that already places you ahead of many. Chapter 6, Purpose, seeing your life as part of something bigger. Purpose transforms effort into meaning. Open quote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Friedrich Nietzsche, close quote. A visitor once asked a janitor at NASA what his job was. The man paused, smiled, and said, "I'm helping put a man on the moon." Same job, different meaning. Purpose changes how you see obstacles. It reminds you that your daily actions, no matter how small, matter. Your life is not random. Your contribution is not insignificant. Chapter 7. Self-compassion. Becoming without breaking yourself. Growth should challenge you, not destroy you. Open quote. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Brené Brown. Close quote. Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall constantly. And yet, we encourage them. We don't shame them for failing. Why do we treat ourselves differently? Self-compassion keeps you going when perfection would make you quit. You are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to grow slowly. Conclusion. The decision that changes everything. The best version of yourself is not found one day in the future. It is built today. Open quote. One day or day one, you decide. Unknown. Close quote. One day you will look back and realize this moment mattered. And the world does not need a perfect you. It needs a brave, evolving, honest you. Start now. Start afraid, but start. Thank you.